Now let's see the classification of contracts. See, contracts can be classified on the basis of three parameters: enforceability, second formation, and third is performance. Let's see all the three one by one. First, we will see the kinds of contract on the basis of enforceability. The first type is valid contract. This is a normal contract. A contract which is enforceable by law is a valid contract. For example, there is one person A. A want to sell his car. A want to sell his car to B for 50,000 rupees. So 50,000 rupees. A want to sell his car to B and B accept this proposal. So this is a valid contract which can be enforceable in the court of law. Now let's see the void contract. Void, it is very important. A contract which ceases to be enforceable by law is called a void contract. Please note that initially it was a valid contract, but after some time, because of some happening of events, it ceased to be enforceable by law. Suppose A wants to marry B. So A wants to marry B. A offers to B for marriage and B accepts this offer of marriage. But after accepting this offer, B dies. Now, initially the contract was valid, but once B is died, now there cannot be marriage with the B. So it will become void contract. Now let's see voidable contract. In voidable contract, a contract which can be terminated, which can be resigned by one of the parties to the contract, then it will be treated as voidable. This is very important type of contract, and most of the time it is asked in the exams. See, there are various circumstances. There are so many circumstances under which one or more parties to the contract get a right to terminate the contract. We will see these in detail, but for the time being, I will give one example for this. For example, we have seen that A is making a proposal to B that kindly marry me, will you marry me? And B accepts this proposal, then it is a contract. But suppose A is threatening B that if you don't marry me, then I will shoot you, and under the pressure B is agreeing to this proposal, then this is avoidable because B's consent was not free consent, it was under pressure. So B will have a right to resign this contract later on. So this is one circumstances I have explained, that when a contract is it will be treated as voidable contract. There are other circumstances also we will see later on. Now let's see unenforceable contract. A contract which cannot be enforceable in the court of law due to some technical defect. That is why it is called unenforceable. It cannot be enforced in the court of law because of technical defect. For example, there are certain contracts which need to be executed as per different laws on a properly stamped paper. Proper value of stamp should be affixed on the agreement, then only it will be treated as valid and enforceable in the court. So all such type of contract which are required to be in a particular form or properly stamped, if you have not executed the contract as per the requirement, it will not be enforceable in the law because of the technical defect and will be treated as unenforceable contract. Now let's see the different kinds of contracts on the basis of formation. First is express contract. So any contract which is made in writing or which is made by words of mouth, that is orally you have made the contract, writing or orally, so it is called express contract. Next is implied contract. Now you can see the word implied means it is implied by act or conduct of the parties. Here there is nothing is in writing or by word of mouth. It is just by the act or conduct of the parties we assume that there is a contract between the parties. For example, there is one person who goes to the coffee shop and he drinks a coffee there. He drinks a coffee there. Coffee was served and he drinks that coffee. Now by this act of this person, he is bound to pay for the coffee. It is assumed that since he is drinking the coffee, he will have to pay for the coffee. So by act we can conclude that there is a contract. So it is called implied contract. Now we will see the quasi contract. This is very important and you have to understand it properly. See, such type of contract, there is no intention of the parties to the contract to enter into a contract. It is by chance it happens. It is based on the principle of equity. Suppose there is one person A, he orders pizza from the pizza shop, and there is another person residing in the neighborhood of A. Suppose this pizza boy delivered the pizza, instead of A, he delivered pizza at the house of B, and B in surprise he eat that pizza. So B was under not any intention to order the pizza and pay for the pizza, but by mistake it was delivered to B and B has eaten that pizza. Now B will be liable to pay for that pizza. Here the principle of equity comes into picture. No one can enrich himself at the expense of other. So if you have utilized anything, services or any particular thing of any other person, so you will have to pay for that, whether you had that intention to pay or not. So there are various circumstances we will see later on when we, that is the law, treat such activities or acts as a quasi contract and the parties will be liable to pay for that. Now let's see the kinds of contract based on the performance. We can divide a contract on the basis of performance into four parts. First, see the unilateral contract. It is very important. That is a one-sided contract. It means one party has already performed his part and it is up to the other party to perform the contract. So it is also called a contract with executed consideration. Let's see one example. Suppose there is one teacher who offers to his student that he will give a car to those student or that student who will score 100 out of 100. This is the open offer. Now out of so many student, one student scores 100 out of 100. The moment that student scores 100 out of 100, it becomes a contract, because the moment it becomes a contract, this student has already performed his part. Now it is up to the teacher to perform his part. So this is called unilateral contract. Now let's see bilateral contract, where two-sided contract. These are two-sided contract where both parties have to perform their promises. Nobody has performed their part, so both the parties still to perform their promises. It is called bilateral contract. Now let's see executed contract. It means a contract which is completely performed by both the parties. So both the parties have performed their part, so it will be treated as executed contract. Now let's see executory contract. It means a contract where something remains to be done by one or both of the parties. It means something has already done and something still to be done. Something is left to be performed. So it is called executory contract. Now we have reached to the end of this part. I hope you must have understood all the concept of this topic. In case still if you have any doubt or query, you can call me at this number. And don't forget to revise and give test.